mental illness. So what do you think is the biggest or just like other contributing factors to mental illness in teens?
Okay. I would like to add one more thing about social media and its contribution to the mental health
Mm-hmm.
issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what are you watching,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? What is it, and what are you taking away from what you are watching?
Mm-hmm.
Because the world internet has opened up a huge world in front of you
Mm-hmm.
as teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is accessible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So what you see and how it affects your mind, it affects your feelings,
Mm-hmm.
it affects what you think about yourself and think about the world
Right.
and think about the others. Like what type of message you are getting from that
Mm-hmm.
makes a huge impact in terms of social media
Right.
on your mental health,
Right. Yeah.
right? So it's not just the Instagram or anything, but it's also the movies and the other episodes and serials that you are seeing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
How is it influencing you? It's like if you can remember your childhood, what were the TV shows that you used to watch?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Give me some names.
Like when we were like, how old? Maybe.
Maybe you were in your middle school, teenage years. What type of video games were available?
Right. Well, there definitely was a transition from like the type of TV shows we watched. Like when you were younger in elementary school, a lot of like we watched at least like I'm pretty sure most kids, but like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, those type of like kind of like more lighthearted TV shows. But definitely as we grow up, like as we mature, we also watch more mature television. And I feel like that kind of like contributes because there are like more serious topics discussed. I know like one TV show that like had a big effect on like students' mental illness because a lot of students watched it at a young age was this show called 13 Reasons Why. I remember a lot. I remember like I think in sixth grade we even got a message from like the principal telling us like, oh, like make sure your student doesn't watch it, and it's because like it talked about really serious topics and in like mental health, and I feel like that like like watching shows like that at a really young age influences. There's like a certain point where watching stuff like that doesn't affect you as much, but if you watch it at like a really young age, that could have an effect. So like I like was able to like see that, and like hearing my friends talking about these shows, I could see that it like might have been affecting them. So that transition like from like watching something as like lighthearted as like Jessie on like Disney to like watching something as serious as that shows like kind of like a difference in like a child's mental health.
Okay. So Melissa, any experience that you want to share with me? Share here?
Yeah, regarding like video games, I definitely think like as we reached middle school, like the games that were the most popular were definitely like the more violent game too.
Okay, I'm sorry, there was a glitch in between, so I could not really pick up. What were the video games that you used to play and you played later on, or you see coming in the market nowadays?
Well, I didn't specifically play it, but I know this game called like Call of Duty became really popular.
Call of
And
Duty,
that's just
yes.
like it's kind of scary like how realistic it looks. And I think it's kind of it's kind of weird to like be exposing like middle school boys to, like guns. I think that's just like I don't know.
And I'll totally agree with both of you. It's like, what are we exposing ourselves to? What is becoming normal, right?
Definitely.
From watching, there is an age progression. Obviously, at 16, I'm not going to expect you to go back and watch Barbie and that was there, right? Barbie and Caillou and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? I definitely don't expect that. There is an age progression. But if you even see that, the games, video games, or the serial, or the level of violence shown, the level of, adult message expressed, the language, adult language being used, at the same age level has changed significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you exposing? As you said that the serial, the 13 Reasons Why, right?
Mm-hmm.
An adult watches that, a 16-year-old watches that, and a 10-year-old watches that. A huge difference
Mm-hmm.
in the message that is being taken away,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? So, that is what really matters as to how is what I'm watching, how is it affecting me in terms of my emotions? When I'm watching it, what type of emotions is it generating within me, right? And what type of thoughts is it generating within me?
Mm-hmm.
What is becoming normal in my life, right? And are those the values of my life that I want to lead my life to?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some very important questions that teenagers need to sit back and ask those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Not to ruin the fun of it, but sometimes you need to give yourself that space and take that step back and reflect on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if it is affecting you, if it is making you sad, if it is putting too much of pressure, if you are taking back the message that you need to change because the society wants you to change, you have to be the perfect person, you have to do these things in a particular, at a particular level.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, let's take a step back, because that is too much of expectation, too high expectation
Mm-hmm.
to put on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yes, it definitely has a significant impact. And even a teenager who is not going to therapy can help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of YouTube videos, there are apps that can help you de-stress. You can check out mindfulness strategies to help yourself de-stress and reorganize your mind and reorganize your emotions. Use grounding exercises to address and de-escalate your anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to rethink, what are my expectations and what are they realistic or not?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if they are not realistic, then the smart thing to do is, let's change it.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mira. I went into a little digression or a lot digression, but you asked me a question. What was your question?
Oh,
Last
yeah.
question.
I was saying, like, what are like the like other contributing factor, or like what you believe is like the biggest contributing factor to like mental illness in teens?
Well, I would actually say there isn't one major contributing factor. There are always multiple factors uh, that affect, and I think social pressure that a teen puts themselves into,
Mm-hmm.
whether that social pressure is from social interpersonal expectations
Mm-hmm.
that they see and believe they are supposed to live up to,
Mm-hmm.
or it is the academic expectations that they have,
Yeah.
right? So that is one area. Then the other area is your family structure, your family dynamics, the life and the support structure that you have
Mm-hmm.
within the family, the emotional conflicts that are there within the family,
Mm-hmm.
right? That can add to the mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the children, unfortunately, continue to go through physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and they find themselves helpless.
Right.
Right? They find themselves fearful. They find themselves stuck in those situations
Right. Mm-hmm.
where they can't break through it, right? So those are some of the factors, unsaid, unspoken, the sense of helplessness, being the feeling that I don't have a support system, can definitely add to the mental health issue. Other issues could also be in terms of isolation, right? The life, the way the life is changing, this world is changing. It is becoming competitive. It is becoming more unit family oriented, right? The effect of the social neighborhood influence is reducing, right? And so a child definitely finds themselves isolated at multiple levels, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that has an effect on a child's mental health. So educational pressure, social interpersonal pressure, family conflicts. There are some very natural and very realistic factors also. Not everybody comes from an affluent family. Every day, there are so many families who actually struggle to meet their ends.
Right.
And that has an effect on a person's mental health also.
Right.
Not knowing whether you're going to get to eat in the evening or not, right?
Right.
You develop strategy to deal with it, but it has an effect on mental health.
Right.
The area that you're growing up, the resources that you have in your life, all of that contribute.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely are very privileged to live in an area where we can access those resources and I guess have people there to support us. That concludes all of our questions, but are there any is there anything else you'd like to add to specifically the STEM students that are going to be watching this, kind of some tips for them to deal with mental health?
Okay. Well, that's a very broad question. But if I can simply say, be each other's support.
Right.
Right? If you are a student of STEM, you belong to the STEM family. And STEM family actually means that you are there for each other.
Right.
So whether a person is struggling or not, you can be there for the other.
Yeah.
Right? And if you feel you need help, or even if you feel that there is something that is really bothering you, speak up, reach out.
Right.
For we hold ourselves, to a lot of our fears. So reach out to someone. And sometimes reaching out to friend is very fruitful, but not always. So know that if that support system is not working, then you need to reach out to somebody else who can be your support system.
Right.
But try not to be afraid of your own internal world. There are supports, there are resources that are available.
Right.
And well, there are resources online. If you go to, you can use various apps to address and practice mindfulness activities. Engaging in self-care activity, very important, because you don't just want to overburden yourself with just getting the great, amazing grades.
Right.
But taking that break to breathe, socialize, do something that you enjoy, whether it's a walk, whether it's biking, whether it's playing a sport, whether it's listening to music, whether it's, dancing. Find your space, playing an instrument, find what you enjoy, and bring that joy back into your life, right?
Yeah.
And there is definitely time management, organization, prioritizing your requirements is very important.
Right.
And please, please, please fight the whole fantasy based idea that we need to be perfect.
Right. Yeah. Hmm.
None of us is perfect.
Yeah.
You figure out the person who you think is like God to
Mhm.
you. You think that that person is perfect, and look into their life. It's not perfect.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So please fight this idea out of your system. Good enough, trying your best, great.
Yeah. Hmm.
But a balance is very important, and support from each other and support from resources that you need is very important.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining and like answering our questions. I know that these responses will definitely resonate for other people. It's definitely going to help other people. So thank you so much.